So as said, we talk about minor and major budget modifications. What's the difference? The minor budget modifications, they have no significant impact on the project objectives or implementation, and they do not require prior approval by the program. But any major budget modifications going beyond the flexibility limits, they need the approval of the program bodies in advance. So, of course, we hope that that you can implement your project as planned in the application form, and there will not be very big modifications necessary. But during implementation, there can be some minor adaptations that come up, and you have some flexibility where you can adjust. So the minor budget modifications are the flexibility that you have to adjust your budget as planned in the application form. So this always refers to the latest version of your application form. And there you have the flexibility thresholds. On the one hand, you can increase a budget in any of the budget lines or in any work package up to 20% or up to 30,000 euro, whichever is higher. So if 20% is more than 30,000 euro, you can go up to 20%. And then this other side, you can increase the budget of the lead partner or any project partner up to 10% or 20,000 euro, whichever is higher. So what is required to make use of this minor budget modification, of this flexibility? You have to report the modification as a deviation in the project report. As you've seen in the EMS, there is for each work package in the partner report already this box where the partners can report on any deviations. And in the joint progress report, you have as well in each work package a box where you can report on deviations. But there's also in the summary, in the section R, there is a separate box on financial explanations. So there we would ask you to sum up all the deviations that have occurred in this period and where you have made minor modifications. And then you just report the expenditure within these flexibility limits. But there are also restrictions. You cannot increase the overall ERDF contribution. So you cannot, if you increase in one part of the project, you have to decrease somewhere else. Then there's also restrictions on the investments. Because for investments for which no investment specification was provided in the application form, which means that they were below 15,000 euros, you cannot increase to more than 15,000 euros within a minor budget modification. And you cannot change the nature, the quantity, or the use of the planned investments. And then there could also be state aid contractual conditions, and you also have to respect these thresholds set in these contractual conditions. So, just for your attention, if you exceed these budget flexibility limits without prior authorization, these amounts would be ineligible. So without requesting a major budget modification, you cannot go beyond these flexibility thresholds. And anyway, you would not be able to submit a report because the EMS would embed the submission of the report if there's any modification above these flexibility thresholds. So if you need to increase above these thresholds, you would need to request a major budget modification. And this major budget modification, as previously said, must be approved by the program bodies in advance. So as soon as you realize that there will be a need for a major budget modification, you need to inform the program bodies. But also, this can only be launched after the project midterm review. So until the project midterm review, your modifications must remain within the flexibility rules for minor budget modifications, and you cannot increase beyond these thresholds because major budget modifications are only possible after the midterm review, and you can only request this once. So you should really carefully plan when you request such a modification, because afterwards you cannot do a major modification again. You can then again do minor budget modifications after the revision of the application form through a major budget modification, but no second major budget modification is possible. So the major budget modification, as said, it's just an increase above these flexibility thresholds that we have seen before. So any work package or any budget line increased above 20% or above 30,000 euro, whichever is higher, or an increase in the budget of the lead partner or of any project partner above 10% or 20,000 euro, whichever is higher. And for this increase of budget of one project partner or the lead partner, we would also need an updated partner declaration, which is stating the co-financing of this partner, and also acknowledgement of the reduction of another partner. So for the major budget modification, there's a process how to do this described in the implementation manual. And the process starts with the information of the Joint Secretariat. You then submit a modification request form that will be screened by the Joint Secretariat. And if the screening is positive, you will be able to do the revision in the application form. So the major budget modification will then also change your application form, and you submit the revised version of the application form together with the signed modification request form. And this is then, there will be a technical opinion on this request, and then there will be a decision taken by the program bodies. But also to keep in mind the restriction, also for the major budget modifications, there is no increase in ERDF contribution possible, and also the state aid contractual conditions need to be respected.